Hello, Balloon Buddies! Today we are reviewing Adventures of Chris, a game that comes to us from developer Gween Entertainment, LLC, and publisher Graffiti Games. I played Adventures of Chris on Steam, where it will be available as of October 8th of this year. It is a 90s-inspired adventure platformer where you take on the role of Chris, a slightly overweight 90s kid that gets sucked into a portal on his way home and ends up in a very strange castle with a very spoiled little vampire kid. From there, he is turned into a party favor and floats up to the kingdom of lost balloons, where he discovers his true power and potential as a hero. After receiving the power to deflate and inflate from the balloon kingdom, Chris goes down to Earth to help save the other children that were abducted by this vampire. Not only does Chris learn how to control his balloon powers, but he also gains a myriad of other abilities, including fireballs, lightning, and a interesting bounce attack, basically a glorified belly flop. But anyway, in addition to the abilities that you gain along the way, you can also level up Chris by purchasing some upgrades from the Balloon Kingdom, including additional health, magical abilities, and some armor, or basically different colored t-shirts. Of course, there are also some collectibles to find along the way, including one balloon who is collecting flags from all over the world, as well as another that has lost his little balloon puppy things. I know it all sounds weird, but kind of just go with it because it makes sense when you're playing. Once you exit the Balloon Kingdom to the world map, you can choose whatever country you want to go to first. You do not have to play in any particular order, though they do suggest that you start with Mexico to gain your fireball ability. In the middle of each level, you will also find a checkpoint where you can exit to the world map, purchase upgrades, or just take a break from wherever you are traveling. After you complete each country, you will be faced with a boss, one of the vampire's comrades, which you will have to subsequently defeat to save the child and bring them back to the Balloon Kingdom. This was the first game I ever played with a protagonist that was a little bit, well, chunky, I guess you could say. And I don't say that in a mean way because I can relate. In 1995, I was probably of similar stature, so I get it. But he definitely played with a little bit of weight to him, meaning when you jump, you felt the weight to it. You felt his struggle to climb a cliff. The rest of the attacks took a little bit of getting used to, like the fireballs or even just the punches. Played a little strangely. You can't really aim particularly well, but once you get the hang of it, it's not too difficult to work with. And there are several difficulty settings, so if you don't like the recommended level of difficulty, you can always turn it down a notch. I did play on the recommended level of difficulty, and everything was well and good until I got to the bosses. Mind you, I'm not particularly great at video games, despite the fact that I review them on a regular basis, but I did find them challenging and sometimes cheap. Nothing was unbeatable, and it didn't deter me from playing at that difficulty, but I just wanted to put a warning out there if you're easily frustrated by bosses. There are quite a few of them in here. On the bright side, there's no lives to keep track of, there's no game over screen. If you die at a boss, you start right back at that boss. If you die during a level, you start pretty close to where you died. If you're really enjoying your playthrough, don't fret when you get to the end because there are reasons to play through it again, including a mean mode, which is supposed to be more humorous, as well as some developer commentary to unlock. Last but not least, I just wanted to quickly touch on the writing in this game. I thought that this could get bad very fast because I don't like something where the butt of the joke is that the character is overweight. Yes, that is a joke in this game, but they do it with a bit of tact. I felt like I was laughing with Chris, not at him for most of the game, so I appreciated that. Graphics definitely had the flair of a 90s cartoon. The backgrounds looked hand-painted, they're very colorful. Each of the enemies had a very distinct look to them, and there is a good variety of enemies given all of the environments that your character travels to. Though the animations of the characters themselves during the storyline are a bit limited, you do get the little profile of the character with their speech bubbles, which does provide a little bit of extra something. I loved all of the different environments in this game. You really felt the difference between each country. This game feels like it's stuck in the 90s in the best possible way. The soundtrack there are so many different types of music in this game. Each setting has its own musical composition that really fits the scene. For example, underwater, you get sort of an aquatic ambiance type tune, and racing through the traffic, you have a more high energy type rock song. Everything is well orchestrated and full sounding. And the sound effects were a great complement to the 90s style graphics. No voice acting, but just the sound effects themselves of the fireballs and the sounds that the character makes as he jumps and does his bounces, I just found humorous and enjoyable. I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't think I would like this game going into it. I was prepared for a game that was full on, just making fun of overweight people and trying to do platforming, which is very hit or miss these days, I feel like, but this really actually surprised me. I had a lot of fun playing through all of the different countries. I loved the humor of the game. I loved that they were laughing with the protagonist, not always at him. Bosses were, again, challenging, but not unbeatable, and if you got too frustrated, you could just leave and go to a different country and try starting from there. Plus, seeing all the 90s references, I was like a kid in a candy store. Trust me, if you're a 90s fan like me, you do not want to miss this one. Thank you so much for checking out my review of Adventures of Chris. If you'd like to see more videos like this one, hit the subscribe button down below where you can follow all of our reviews and previews. You can also check out the description box for links to our merchandise store, as well as our memberships and our Discord. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you next time.